With due respect to the live action and everything that it brings, when it comes to automotive stuff, with CGI, we can amplify the emotion of the speed. We can amplify the design of the car. We can do things that are unachievable in the traditional way. So it has its pros and cons in both sides, but we believe that at least adding a layer of CGI gives a greater sense to the campaigns when it comes to automotive. Back when we started the studio, we were pretty much the boys studio, and boys really like cars. So in the beginning, we did bunch of in-house tests about the cars. So for the cars, for us at CGI, there's two aspects. There's aspect of design and how the car looks in terms of curvature, appeal, and all those designy stuff. But there's on top of that, there is this other aspect, which is how it moves and how it behaves in the curves and how we animate it and how we transfer that emotion to the viewer. We were involved in so many projects, but in the different ways when it comes to the car industry and to automotive stuff. We did game trailer that are like MX versus ATVs, which is off-road driving vehicles. We did only asset work for the different car brands, Mercedes, Porsche, Lamborghini. And we did a bunch of in-house tests for different cars. We like the old cars, like Ford GTs. We like newer cars, like La Ferraris. But when it comes to building an asset, we were involved in the project for a Lamborghini Sian. And it was one of the most interesting projects because I personally took care of it, and I didn't have a bound to the brand of Lamborghini back in the days because I thought it was, I don't know, it was not appealing to me. But the best way you can sense the car is basically by seeing and touching it and driving it. But yeah, I didn't have experience of driving Lamborghini. But the next best thing would be basically experiencing it through 3D, where you get the CAD files and you can literally move your camera and sense the proportion of the car. And the Lamborghini Sian was one of the, I had my hands like on a bunch of the five, but that one was really out of this world. So we delivered the asset for the launch of that car, for the PR photos, actually renders. It somehow was unfinished business for us. So one of our artists took creative exploration, and that's how our project, like we call Lamborghini Wedding, has come to life, where we created that totally contrasting to the mighty and hyper car, which is big, white, silky curtain moved by the wind. So we believe it's beautiful contrasts, and it just worked in a beautiful way, and it was a joy to bring it to life. The Alpine project, which is a Renault's special line of their car, it was totally different thing. It was shot at Ljubljana. Everything was in camera except for the settings. So it was more like VFX task for us, but it really added the layer of out of this world different setting with all these counters and graphic elements. We also influenced the environment. We built something which doesn't exist. We build the world that we fit Alpine into. So it added a layer of environment and graphic elements that basically elevated the car and brand of Alpine for that campaign. Automotive is also present in the gaming world, as we have plenty of games which include automotive stuff. We did one of those trailers. It's called MX versus ATVs, and for that one, it was really not about being accurate, not about being precise. So the main thing was to transfer the those vehicles being gritty, grungy, dirty, and driving through the deserts and stones and whatnot. So it's totally different experience compared to automotive industry and campaigns for those. But it was really fun. It's also on the stylized side of things, but we enjoyed bringing the MX bike high jump in a 240 frames per second slow motion, and the whole spot was actually in the slow motions for the different type of the vehicles. So yeah, it was a real joy, something totally different compared to the automotive, but equally and maybe even more fun. Together with our partners from Switzerland, we were lucky enough to win the pitch for Roland-Garros 2021 titles. Extremely fun project. Started with, of course, with the creating and the storyboard, but what was interesting, it was shot in the Switzerland, but before the shoot, we did previews in 3D, so we could pretty much log the timings, log the cameras, and prepare the crew to the most optimized shooting they could have, because they went to the shooting with the previews and they know the timing, and it was so much easier for them. So that's like preparation for the shooting, which was pretty much as important as the shooting itself. When it comes to the shooting, shooting was not meant to shoot something that will be used as it is as live action, but we basically needed shooting in order to mimic the motion. The way that we use the shop material is that we grab the characters and we rotoscope them and stylized and fit them into the 3D world, which is rendered as a 2D, to create the perfect marriage between the two and seamless integration of both, and everything while keeping the Roland-Garros brand identity and color palette intact. So really fun stuff, really important tournament like tennis, super important piece, and it was a real pleasure and privilege to work upon it, and one of the favorite pieces that we did, definitely. With due respect to the live action and everything that it brings, when it comes to automotive stuff, with CGI we can amplify the emotion of the speed, we can amplify the design of the car, we can do things that are unachievable in the traditional way. So it has its pros and cons in both sides, but we believe that at least adding a layer of CGI gives a greater sense to the campaigns when it comes to automotive. Thanks for taking the time to look at this content. Feel free to subscribe and like. You can also follow me at LinkedIn. I'm Ivan Vasiljević, so you can look me up, and I'm happy to hear in the comments about your thoughts and next potential topic that you would like me to talk about.